What is going on, you guys? Crayon98 here, and we're back with a Legion review. So I've been playing Legion the past week or so, and since then I've hit level 110. I'm just about ready for Raid Finder. I'll be raiding this weekend, officially. And I've gotten, my feet wet with PvP. I've done plenty of world quests, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and make a video of my thoughts and, feelings about World of Warcraft Legion so far. So I played Cataclysm thoroughly, I played Pandaria thoroughly, and I briskly played Draenor. I did not hit max level. Draenor to me and to most people was a flop, and it was a really big, I think it was a real money bait, and it wasn't a good expansion. So Legion is kind of like the resurrection of my love for WoW, and we're going to find out if I like it. So I divided this video up into 5 different parts. And each clip, I'm going to go through a different section of the game and we'll review it. And overall, in the end, I will give a final review of World of Warcraft Legion. So stay tuned for the next part, guys. Part 1. Leveling and Story. World of Warcraft Legion starts you off with purchasing it a level 100 character boost that you can spend one time to get any class, any race, any faction in the game, level 100. This is great because it gets you to jump right into all the new content that unlocks at that maximum level. From level 100, you're to level 10 levels all the way to level 110. And through that, you quest, you get to see the new story, and you get to experience the new Broken Isles continent that is given with the DLC. My personal thoughts on it was the level 100 to 110 experience was the best it's ever been. I've never enjoyed leveling more in WoW. Honestly, and I hate leveling in WoW. It's a chore. It's a gripe. I really don't like it. The whole fetching and doing it. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of quests that are kill this, collect that, kill this, collect that. But the pacing feels great, and the first set of quests they allow you to do are a huge treat. And they really set the stakes in the beginning of this expansion. I mean, they started off with a bang, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but they really do show you how ruthless the Burning Legion is. And I feel like WoW got more mature with this expansion. I don't know. I've been really impressed with how I feel like this whole expansion we're like losing. I don't feel like we're crushing them. We're special. We're actually like, I feel like, the players are struggling to try and like figure out what the fuck is going on. So it's really good. Also, you get an artifact weapon. So a few quests into the new expansion as a level 100, you get this quest, and it is specific to each class and your spec. So if you're a warrior and you're a tank, it's different than if you're a warrior and you're a fury warrior. So you'll get a quest eventually, and it'll send you off on some journey or whatever, and it's a little simple chain, and it'll give you this thing they call an artifact weapon. The artifact weapon is like, it's a legendary weapon you're going to use the entire expansion. You never switch out this weapon. And periodically you upgrade it with different artifacts and different upgrades that you get from artifact power. This can empower your abilities to do more damage, and it can also give you crazy cool little buffs, and your weapon also has an ability embedded in it. I play an arms warrior, and my weapon allowed me to use this giant AoE. Spikes come out of the ground that are purple, and I would decimate everyone with a debuff called Colossus Smash, which is your most powerful debuff as a warrior trying to do damage. And it was really awesome, and it really became helpful, and it went into the rotation perfectly. So the artifact weapons were great. The leveling itself was a huge treat. Levels 100 to 110 were awesome. The beginning was more fun, and it did, get not as enjoyable, but it's still, I still enjoyed this far more than any other leveling experience in WoW. The cutscenes were great. The character voice acting within the quest is something they haven't done yet. And the whole, like, no need to read the quest text is a huge plus in my book. you don't have to stop what you're doing and read a quest. They'll break it all down for you with voice acting, and it's really good. And that will conclude part 1 of this video, guys. Stay tuned for the next part. Part 2, Endgame and PvE. The endgame in World of Warcraft Legion is a big change from its previous expansions. World of Warcraft Legion lets you hit level 110, and once you hit max level and completed several of the new zones, you unlock the ability to complete the new thing introduced called World Quests. World Quests are taken straight from Diablo 3 and follows the exact same premises as Diablo 3. You complete quests inside of a zone that other players have, so you guys work together if you see each other. And if you complete the zone, and there's an emissary that's willing to give you a prize for completing the zone, they'll give you a treasure chest that you can open that can give you loot. It can give you all sorts of resources for your class order hall and all sorts of other crap like that. It's pretty awesome. Aside from world quests, I really have to mention how much more in-depth it is than dailies. So previous to World Quests in World of Warcraft, we had dailies where every single day you could come back, there'll be quest givers that give you a set couple of different quests for you to do, and that would give you reputation, eventually gear, maybe even mounts, some other cool stuff, but they were very repetitive and you were very isolated. You were very alone, and it alienated players from one another. It wasn't good. World Quests helps fix the system. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's perfect. I do have my gripes about it, and I'll get into that in a second. But what I really do have to stress is how great it is at making players come together and work together on a common goal. If you see kids fighting a boss for a world quest, that's like the best thing ever, because all you have to do is run up, tag the boss, you'll get credit too. Everyone gets credit for everything now in Legion. So if you're attacking an enemy and someone else runs in and hits him once, you're both getting credit. It's not separated. Nobody's getting mad at someone for hitting a boss once and stealing the kill. Every single person is being evenly distributed their stuff. So that's awesome. And that's great. And that's a huge plus to the PvE questing side of WoW. Aside from world quests, dungeons, there's heroic dungeons and mythic. And mythic is a rather new difficulty to those that haven't played in a while. It's the hardest level of difficulty now in WoW. And what's interesting about mythic dungeons in Legion is that they can be scaled up. Just like Diablo. They've taken so much from Diablo with this expansion. So a mythic dungeon is the highest level of difficulty in a dungeon, and you could place keystones at the beginning of the dungeon to make it harder and harder, but give better and better loot. And there is a cap on it, but it's very high. It's higher. It's like you can upgrade it so much to it be probably above normal raid, maybe even heroic raid. It can go so high that it can be it's the equivalent of doing a raid if you put enough keystones into it. So if you're a group of 5 dudes and you like to work together and you don't have 10 or so for a raid, it's perfect way to get good gear and to do dungeons. So dungeons are actually awesome. And the gear within dungeons scales with your item level. So if you have good item level, the dungeons are going to give you even better. So there's always incentive to come back. And this also goes with world quests and PvP. So there's always a reason to come back to content in this. Stuff doesn't just drop dead, which is really awesome, and that's a huge plus to World of Warcraft Endgame. The raids so far, they have the Emerald Nightmare, and obviously world bosses that can drop raid level gear. I just killed one the other day called Withered Jim, and yeah, you have the potential to get raid gear from them. They're not exactly that hard. World bosses have been in the game before. No big changes with them in Legion. And except for the fact that they can be a world quest. A weekly world quest can be to kill a world boss, which is interesting. And you'll get some stuff from it. And as for the Emerald Nightmare raid, it's been getting a bit mixed reviews. People like it, but a lot of people are clearing it really quickly, and some people might even go so far as to say it's too easy. I haven't raided it yet. I have no idea, but people have already beaten it on Mythic weeks into it, just a few weeks into it, and that's a little concerning. But at the same time, those are like the highest level of raiders in the game. So that will conclude part 2, folks. We'll head into the next one right now. Part 3, PvP and its changes. Okay guys, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this if people actually watch this video, but my thoughts on PvP and its changes are very, very mixed. This is coming from someone who's played PvP hardcore since they started playing WoW. They always loved PvP. I preferred PvP over PvE for a long time, except for recently. So, you know, here, it reminds me of communism, what they want to do. And this is what they're doing. Yeah, everyone in PvP now is 850 item level. It's set. Everyone's equal, which is cool in concept. I understand. Everyone gets a nice, fair advantage at beating one another, so it's based off skill. Okay, sounds good, right? Well, here's the thing. Is, you know, if you grind your ass off in arenas and rated battlegrounds and you get, you know, conquest gear, you're hardly better than anyone else with the same skill, which is fine, I guess. But here's the thing. If you're someone else who's also conquest geared, isn't it the same thing? You know, I feel like the incentive to PvP has dropped tremendously with these changes, and I personally am not a big fan of it at all. Now, I do like the idea of keeping players within a reasonable range of one another in terms of power. But there has to be, you know, PvP sets that give players the real, you know, that really good feeling when they put on their final conquest piece and they know that they are now at maximum potential. It was a great feeling. I think most people can agree with me on that. I mean, yeah, it's cool to the PvEers because now they don't have to do shit to come in and do decent. But I don't like it. PvP does introduce a new honor talent tree system where you level up and even prestige in PvP in WoW. It's trying to be like Call of Duty, I guess, but what it does is it allows you to unlock special talents that you can only use in PvP places like battlegrounds, arenas, etc. And they give you all sorts of cool PvP abilities, and I love that. That's a great little addition. But I do wish that there was the sense of vendors and, you know, real, like, urgency to getting geared. It's a good feeling. I mean, we all love getting geared in PvE. Why can't we love getting geared in PvP? And this is coming from someone who knows what it's like to get their fucking ass one-shotted in a battleground. Not one-shotted, but like 3 or 4-shotted by super geared kids when you don't have crap. Yeah, it sucks, but that's the point of it. You know, you get dragged through the dirt, but then you rise up and you slowly become the person that used to crush you, and you can now pick on the bullies. It's pretty dope, and I love that system. Aside from that, they added no new battlegrounds. None. Not a single new battleground. What the fuck? I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, 2 new arenas. Alright, that's nice, but we've gotten arenas and battlegrounds at the same time in previous expansions. So that's another gripe. It kind of feels like they're trying to make PvP like a side thing. And I understand that people might even defend that PvP isn't supposed to be the main aspect of WoW, but I strongly disagree. That will conclude this part of the video. Stay tuned, guys. Part 4, Utility Changes. The slight changes to World of Warcraft Legion can add up to make a very big difference. And I do have to say that some of them are really awesome. Now, we briefly talked over one of them, of how anyone can tag it, a boss, and work together, and that how much world quests have caused this surge of team play, and how I've never felt more connected to, you know, the scale of WoW and all of its players within it before. But there's a bunch of other changes too. So another big change with the Broken Isles is that every single zone levels with you. So this is an amazing technology, and I really don't even know how the hell they do it. But you can go from one zone to the other and the creatures there scale with you. They'll scale with the person next to you who's a higher level than you, and they'll scale with the other guy who's a lower level. So it's crazy because you can have all these people in zones now, all doing almost in their own zone because they're fighting enemies at their skill level. Yet they're fighting enemies at theirs. Yet you're able to play together. So that's where the confusion comes into play, but it works and it's great and it's awesome. And I hope they keep this, because it would be amazing if you could travel anywhere in WoW, quest wherever you want, do whatever you want, kind of like Guild Wars 2, cough cough, and it'll scale with you, which is pretty freaking dope, and I love that change. Another thing they did is they got rid of Valor. They got rid of Justice points. They got rid of Honor points. They got rid of Conquest points. I didn't want to put this in any specific part besides this because they all are affected. They just got rid of it because they want to go with a different system. They want to move on from it. They didn't really like how people could spend currency on stuff. And I don't know how I feel about that, because it was nice having Valor points in PvE. It was nice having Conquest. It allowed you to buy a piece of gear if it wasn't freaking dropping for you, or you saved up to buy it, and that's what you planned on buying. Hey, man, shoulders never drop for you. Guess what? Spend those Valor points. You can get those shoulder pads that do not drop for you. Now they're relying a lot more on an RNG type system, and I dislike that. But it's okay, because you know what? I've been seeing the direction they're going in, and I can kind of understand why they wanted to get rid of it. Also, this is a little minute thing, but inflation is really starting to pick up in WoW. I don't know about you guys, but from level 100 to 110, I gained like 10,000 gold. What the hell? Back then, 10,000 gold was like a good amount of money. Now, yeah, it's still good, but you could just tell that there's this inflation going on. People are giving you more money from quests. World quests can reward you with more gold. And I don't know, I feel like they're really allowing you to go crazy with gold. But that'll cover the utility changes in World of Warcraft Legion, guys. That concludes part 4. Stay tuned for the conclusion and final overall judgment. Part 5. Conclusion. I'm going to be honest with you guys. World of Warcraft Legion gives me some seriously old school vibes with WoW. Whenever I log on and I see the Burning Legion, and I really get this sense of like I'm back in it and people are going nuts with me. I really gotta feel like this is great. Like, this is exactly what I look for in a WoW expansion. It's got some elements of seriousness. It's got great new characters and voice acting to go along with them. I've never been more enveloped in the story before. I never paid attention to it much until now. Now it really matters, and they really shove it in your face, and you're gonna like it. I promise you, if you like WoW, you're gonna like this. And this expansion overall so far has been awesome, and I'm really liking it on almost all fronts. I mean, yeah, there are gripes, and PvP, I don't like the new system. I don't. I'll give it more of a chance, and maybe I'll change my mind. But so far, I'm not a big fan. But the raiding aspects, the dungeon aspects, the world quests, the utility changes, the zones themselves are awesome. Each one is unique from one another, and the whole world is connected because it levels with you. You could go wherever you want. You don't have to quest in a zone if you don't want to. That's amazing. Okay, and there's cutscenes for side quests, and side quests are crazy. Like, some side quests I did, and someone died like that. I didn't even know, but I was like, holy shit! Like, people just die, dude. It's crazy. It's not as childish as I thought it was, to be honest with you. And I gotta say, I have really good feelings, especially with this. This is something I want to leave you guys with. World of Warcraft Legion has already within weeks of its expansion release announced the next patch, and the next mythic dungeon is visible. There's 2 dungeons coming out, actually one, Return to Karazim or whatever, and also they're releasing the Nighthold raid in January, and you can look at it, you can go to it, you can't go in it, but you can see the bosses. We're gonna fight Gul'dan, and that's going to be nuts. And they are really showing how they're going to stay strong with this expansion, and that they're committed to making it a really good one. And this has potential to be my favorite of all, because I really do feel like it kind of like shot back to old school WoW, but at the same time it's new and fresh, and I don't want to look back. So World of Warcraft Legion is getting, I'm gonna give it, out of all my gaming experiences so far, especially with World of Warcraft, you know it's an 8.5 out of 10. It's very good, and I think it'll probably be a 9 when everything's said and done. So I suggest, if you're a WoW fan and you get free time, if you get a month or 2 months or 3 months, a summer, a winter, play this shit. You'll be enveloped in the story. You'll enjoy several aspects of it. The artifact weapons are fucking awesome, and the leveling to them is great. And the new places are awesome. The new mounts are sick. There's so much good in this expansion and so little bad. You gotta give it a shot. Thanks, guys. This was Crayon98. I really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching the whole video. It took me a while to film all of this and narrate it. So please, give this a like, subscribe, tell your friends to watch it. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.